Merry Vlogmas, everybody. It's your girl T back with another Tea Talk for Tuesday. Thank you guys for the overwhelmingly positive response on last week's Tea Talk. This week is going to be a lady business. There have been a lot of requests for more lady business videos, not just under my last Tea Talk where I kind of floated the idea, but under my previous lady business videos. If you have no idea what my lady business series is, I will link the playlist right here, but essentially it is a forum for us to discuss things that affect us as women that are not discussed enough when it comes to general reproductive health or whatever. Just those taboo, cringy topics that no one really talks about, but that should really be talked about a whole lot more. Because there has been such a positive response to lady business videos in general, please be sure to participate in the comment section. Let's keep the dialogue going under all of these. And as well, if there's anything in particular that you think would make an interesting lady business video topic, be sure to let me know, because I only have so many ideas as to what we can talk about here. So if you have something in mind, perhaps it'll be a good idea that we can talk about. I couldn't even title this video the way I wanted to due to YouTube basically punking me and trying to demonetize anything I do. On one of my previous lady business videos, I had the word tampons in the title and it was demonetized immediately. I don't want it to seem like I'm only doing this for the money, but look, this is a part of my income, especially since work is slow / non-existent for me right now. And I do need to make the $4 or whatever it's going to be that these videos might net me. Today we are talking about the vagina. In particular, when you're having some itchy problems down there due to yeast. There are many things that can cause yeast infections, not least of all diet. But today I want to focus on something that has affected me directly. Man, I don't really want to talk about this, but the fact that I don't want to talk about this means that we really should talk about it, because I know I can't be the only one. But aside from the more obvious sources of yeast infections, one of them is condoms. Because I exclusively use non-hormonal birth control methods, condoms are a critical, non-negotiable part of my sex life. And frankly, because hormonal birth controls don't prevent diseases, they should be a part of pretty much all of our sex lives unless we're in committed monogamous relationships. And based on some first-hand personal experience, I learned the hard way that condoms can indeed cause yeast infections in some people. It happened to me a couple times. In my situation, it was a particular brand and type under that brand that tends to, or pretty much always, triggers a yeast infection for me. I'm not going to say what brand it is, but I will say that it rhymes with Trojan Magnums. So it turns out the fact that the man in my life requires Trojan Magnums is both a gift and a curse. And unfortunately, I didn't really understand what was happening to me. I had to actually go to my gynecologist and get prescriptions to treat this yeast infection on 2 separate occasions. And it was quite a while of trying different things before I could finally get the infection to clear. As a person who prefers alternative medicines and more natural holistic approaches, it is my last resort to use Western medicines and prescription type of things. But girl, I needed it. Mercifully, I was able to get the infection to clear, and I thought all was well and good, and then it came right back. Once the infection returned, I realized that something else had to be going on, and I just started putting 2 and 2 together and thought, wait a minute, could it be the condoms? Hopped on the old Google schmoogle, and next thing you know, loads of other women on random ass message boards, on random ass sites I've never heard of, were complaining of the same thing. Not just with condoms in general, but often with the exact same ones that were giving me the issue. That was enough confirmation for me, and I really just wanted to share this information with you, because a lot of times we are so ashamed of these types of things that happen, yeast infections, or I think vaginosis is just another itchy vagina problem, and we don't want to talk about it and we suffer in silence. But if you've been experiencing something similar and you don't know why it's happening to you, it might be the condoms you're using. Condoms can sometimes cause yeast infections due to the types of spermicide being used. Nonoxynol 9 is a very common one, and it is known to be a trigger for yeast infections in some women. Not to mention, there are a couple other ways in which condoms can indeed induce yeast infections for women. Sometimes it'll just be the friction of the actual latex during intercourse that can cause things to get off kilter, and then an overproduction of yeast can ensue. And when you've got a really, really bad yeast infection, you can often be worried that you've gotten an STD or something. If this is something that you are dealing with, make sure you get yourself checked out. Make sure it's not something more serious, because either way, you need to get proper treatment. The good news is there are other condom brands and options out there that are less likely to trigger yeast infections for you, ones that use different lubricants and materials that are not nearly as likely to cause a yeast infection. So you can continue having your adult fun safely without having to deal with a really terrible aftermath. I will be sure to link more information in the description box on the correlation between condoms and yeast infections, as well as some other options of brands that are more mindful in the materials that they use so that you are less at risk of contracting a yeast infection. And that's it. I don't know what's more holiday appropriate than talking about vagina and yeast infections, but Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you for watching today's Tea Talk / Lady Business Volume 3. If you have experienced a similar thing, please share your experience in the comments. And if you need to change your name or change your avatar, feel free. I understand not wanting to put yourself on blast for this type of thing, because I certainly didn't, but I'm doing this in the hopes that it might help someone out there who might not understand what the hell is going on downstairs and why it's happening. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another Vlogmas video, as well as next week for another Tea Talk. Bye-bye.
That's a nappy-headed hose there, I'm going to tell you that now.